I just want to show up and express my solidarity for him and other political prisoners.
If they try to take that away from him and take his life, who's next?
Stop the plot, stop the plan. They're trying to murder an innocent man. An injury to one is an injury to all. An injury to one is an injury to all. Free Mumia, Abu Jamal.
Brick by brick, wall by wall, we gon' free Mumia, Abu Jamal. Brick by brick, wall by wall, we gon' free Mumia, Abu Jamal.
When it comes to the people, there's two laws. We need to stand on the side of justice. We're here for not just Mumia, but I think we're here for all the citizens of this here United States.
Free Mumia now.
Say what?
Free Mumia now.
Say what?
Free Mumia now.
Say what? Free Mumia now. Say what?
Free Mumia now.
I'm Councilman Barron here representing the Freedom Party, and the Freedom Party says free Mumia. No execution, no life sentence, free Mumia. Mumia is innocent. We're not going to stop until he's freed, because if they come for him in the morning, they can come for us in the afternoon. This is about the violation of the human rights of a people.
We want him free now. And we have never lost that as the ultimate goal. And we won't stop fighting until he is free. It's beyond just the fate of an individual. Mumia has come to symbolize all political prisoners in the United States. And in many ways around the world, he's come to symbolize the struggle of African Americans for freedom, for self-determination. You're trying to murder a movement. You're trying to murder a legacy. That's not going to happen.
I was at the debate last night between Michael Cord and Seth Williams and Joanna Fernandez and Tigray Hill. And first, Tigray Hill had no business on that dais on that stage, because when asked why he made his film, he hesitated. And he hesitated because the truth is because he made that film for money. He got paid to make that film, and he knows no facts about the case. The movie that he made, The Barrel of a Gun, basically says that Mumia deserves to die because he was a Black Panther and the Black Panthers were violent, therefore Mumia committed that crime. There's no facts. Not at one time does he mention the many black people during the civil rights struggle or up to this day who've been killed by cops. We're moving. And so, you know, I think that they underestimate the love that we have for Mumia, and that's much stronger than their desire to kill him.
I think what we really got to be conscious of today is that in '92, when Denby actually ruled on Mumia, they ruled that the death sentence be dropped, and that actually split, and Mumia would have life in prison. What that actually did was split the Mumia Abu Jamal movement, because a lot of people around the world was only dealing with the death penalty. We have to watch that today and not say we'll drop the death penalty or the execution. We have to say free Mumia right now. That's what we hear today, and that's the message we should carry forward. He should be freed now.
Mumia is an imperialist political prisoner. They're holding him prisoner because he's an honest journalist. He's a journalist that stood up for working people of all colors, Black, Latin, Asian, white. He's always stood for justice, and he's been in jail all but too long for something he did not do.
Anytime you get a police union that is so powerful that it can threaten mayors and governors and presidents and tries to intimidate the national community, then we as Americans had better wake up, because this was the route that Hitler took to power. So I'm here because I stand against fascism. I stand with this brother who has, behind bars, been man enough to continue his struggle for human rights, his struggle for human dignity, and his struggle for the freedom of all political prisoners.
Brick by brick, wall by wall, we gonna free Mumia, Abu Jamal. Brick by brick, wall by wall, we gonna free Mumia, Abu Jamal.
We're dealing with Homeland Security. They think they're running this, but we gotta let them know whose streets? Our streets. So we're running this. I'm asking people powerful. Right here, people get on one side here, shout, scream, turn this motherfucker out. That's right.
On the outside, what's happening is we want to make sure we keep the pressure out here, and then whatever concessions come up out of this courtroom, that we not let one bit on our relentless demand that Mumia Abu Jamal be free. And when we say Mumia Abu Jamal in the context of as representative of all colonized people, not just held captive in those concentration camps, but the people in general. So again, we want to make sure we keep the pressure on out here, literally on the concrete. So again, free Mumia Abu Jamal, free them all. It's coming live to you direct from Chairman Fred Hampton, the POCC, the Panther Cubs, the organization that came on legacy of the Black Panther Party.
FBI is attacking people, anti-war demonstrators while the economy is in crisis, and they know people can't get the necessities of life. So they know they have to try to set an example to try to keep us in fear. And so one of those ways of trying to demoralize us and trying to set an example is to go after Mumia yet again and denying him of any justice and even threatening his life. So it's very important for people, no matter what you concentrate on, whether it's for housing, against foreclosures, or against the war. All these struggles connect to the struggles to defend our heroes like Mumia.
It's especially important for us to come out and fight for him, to strengthen each other and build our forces back, to show that they cannot terrorize us into submission. And of course we must free Mumia because we need him.
Yes. Why did they uphold Mills then? And what is different about what's happened today?
Right, it was 2008. They found that there was error here. They found that there was an unconstitutional way of presenting this to the jury. And today there's really nothing that has changed that should change their minds about that. Nothing. That's it. And just because the U.S. Supreme Court decided another case based on Mills, it gets a favorable ruling. If the government wants to seek a death sentence, they have to conduct a new penalty phase.
Would this lead to a new trial eventually?
This is only about the penalty phase. So this issue here is not about a new trial with regard to guilt. No. I really just am focused today on what I argued and, what's important. And I feel very good about it.
Okay. Suzanne? First of all, congratulations on a great presentation. You really all right.
All right. And she's Mumia's choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The battle for his life at this particular point.
The way instructions are given to jury can be very misleading. So that's what the Mills case is about. The Supreme Court ruled on Spizak. Spizak was a Nazi, a murderer, somebody who loved Hitler, hated blacks, hated Jews. Spizak was sentenced to death again in January. No sooner had they ruled within a few days or 2 weeks or something like that, lo and behold, not surprisingly, guess what? The Supreme Court says, hey, given Spizak, we got to look at Mumia again. And so they reopen up the question of Mumia and execution for Mumia. So when we heard that, we knew that they are going full speed ahead to murder and silence Mumia once and for all. The court hearing today was about that. Judith Ritter argued that nothing in Spizak's case resembles Mumia's case, and that the ruling that they made, they upheld, this Third Circuit upheld the judge's decision of 2001, 2 years ago. They agreed that the Mumia should still get life in prison without parole. The same 3 people who heard a case today agreed on that back just 2 years ago. Those of you who know Lynn Stewart's case, you never can rest assured. You always have to remain vigilant. So
you can email us at justiceontrialthemovie@gmail.com to get a copy of this film so that you can show it in your school, in your church. We're encouraging house parties. And I'm saying that because I really do believe that we have the power to resurrect this case, to raise its profile widely in American society. And this is why we need to do this. In the courtroom, we saw something that we hadn't seen in a long time. The prosecutor who prosecuted this case originally in 1981, Joe McGill, was in the House. Maureen Faulkner was also present, and the entire political apparatus of Philadelphia was present. This did not happen in 2007. I'd like to ask the media, I'd like to ask the court, I'd like to ask the political apparatus in Philadelphia, why has no court listened to the totality of violations? Why? Why isn't the courtroom looking at the photographs of Pedro Polikoff? The cops and the prosecution had a theory of what happened, and they needed the crime scene to fit their theory of what happened. Why was it that the police didn't conduct the routine paraffin test, right? If they thought Mumia did it, Mumia's hands would have had the dust from the gun, from the gunpowder residue, right? This is not a new technology. This is a routine operation, but they failed to conduct that test. The media and the cops, after December 9th, 1981, on December 10th, reported that a .38 caliber gun killed Officer Faulkner. Well, at trial, you know what the medical examiner determined? Well, no, it wasn't a .38 caliber gun that killed Officer Faulkner. It was a .44 caliber gun. But Mumia had a .38 caliber gun. Somehow, the bullet was lost. So there are so many inconsistencies in this case. 40% of Philadelphia was African American at that time. Only 1 or 2 black jurors made it to the jury. And why is this important? This is important because the African American community has a very different experience with the cops. So when they get to the courtroom, they are not going to believe everything the cops say. That's not what white Americans experience, however, in their communities, in the suburbs. White Americans have a very, very different experience with the cops. So Mumia had the right to have people in his jury that knew firsthand that the cops cheat, that the cops lie, that the cops tamper with evidence in order to obtain a conviction. That's why a jury of your peers is so important in this country. James Forbes, Officer James Forbes, mishandled the guns. He didn't properly carry them. In court, however, on page 124 of the trial transcripts, he tells McGill that he properly handled the guns. Kenneth Freeman was identified by Cynthia White, the star witness of the prosecution. She identified Kenneth Freeman in a lineup twice, but that never came into the courtroom. And the question is why? We have to learn the details of this case, and we have to put it to the justice system in this country. We can't continue to engage in generalizations. There are so many details in this case that really speak to the injustices, that expose the bankruptcy of the system. We need to learn those details. We need to write about them. We need to talk to our friends about them. We need to talk about them in church, in school, in our families, because justice has never been made in the United States in the courts. Struggles in the streets, demanding, forcing this government to make good on their promise of democracy.